Hello and welcome back to Board Crazy. My name is Dee and today I'll be reviewing Animix with...
You'll be reviewing it with Will. Hello, everybody.
Yes, hello. So before we get reviewing, we are going to run my introduction to the game from our gameplay video for anyone who hasn't seen that yet. To give you a little bit of an understanding of how the game works before we talk about it. So Here that goes. Animix is a game for 2 to 6 players designed by Mathieu, Bossu and published by Blue Orange. In this game, players are trying to collect the most cards of different animal species while also carefully rearranging the cards on the table in order to maximize their point haul. To set up, players must first choose which of the 8 species they wish to use. There are 10 cards per species and each one scores in a different way. The number of species used in a game is always equal to the player count plus 1. Once the species are chosen, all of their cards are shuffled up and then arranged face up into a grid. The size of the grid is also determined by the player count. The remaining cards are then dealt out face down. With 2 to 5 players, each person is dealt 6 cards. With 6 players, each person is only dealt 5, and any cards left after that point are then returned to the box. Lastly, the mountain tokens are placed near the board, and then play can begin with players taking turns in clockwise order. On their turn, a player must perform one of 2 actions. One action is to simply take a card from their hand and place it face down in front of them. The other option is to take a card from the grid on the center of the table and then place that face down in front of them. When this latter option is chosen, the players then must take another card from their hand and fill in the space they made, and then place a mountain token on that card in order to lock it in place for the rest of the game. Once all players' hands are empty, the game is over, and then everyone flips over the card that they've all placed face down. The player who has collected the most cards of a single species is the only one who will be able to score for that species. In the event of a tie, the points of that species are shared evenly between the tied players. How many points each species scores is determined by the final position of the cards on the grid. For example, monkeys score 2 points for each monkey card in the column with the most monkeys, while elephants work the same way, but with rows. Then players simply add up the points for the species they control, and the player with the most total points is the winner of the game. It's as simple as that. Okay, Will.
Yeah.
You still Will. Animix, the game of cards. I think before we start talking about this, I do want to mention something. I don't know how you feel about this. I am personally not comfortable assigning a score to this game yet for this review. We've only played this with 2 players.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's a 2 to 6 player game, and I mean, I'm not sure about much, but I am sure that is not the optimal player count for this game, from our experience.
It works fine at 2, but you're right, it's not...
It is absolutely playable.
It's not going to be the player count that...
But yeah, I don't think I've gotten a thorough enough experience to feel comfortable giving it a grade. But we're going to talk about, our experiences so far.
Yeah, and, what you could expect, I guess, in a smaller player count. The game obviously at 2, maybe 3.
The game doesn't change mechanically at all.
No.
So we're perfectly, allowed to talk about that. All right. I guess we start with the gameplay. I think this is a game that it's definitely clever in some ways. I don't know if I like it, but I think it definitely does some clever things.
I kind of have the same feeling. But why don't you start? What do you like about it?
So it's one of these things, like, it's so easy to learn, and it's played so quickly. You kind of go in expecting kind of like the least from what it's going to offer. And then it's kind of tricky in a way you wouldn't expect. Now,
yeah, I mean, it is tricky in the sense that most card games like this, you expect there to be a drafting mechanic where you'll end up scoring based on what you have in your hand. That's normally how these games go. This game kind of flips it on its head, and it's like, what you have in your hand or what you have face down in front of you matters. Yeah. But not as much as what's out there in the public pool, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what's most interesting about it, is that a lot of this game, like a lot of the actions you take, often feel almost as detrimental to you as they do helpful. And I feel like a lot of times, like, success is about trying to limit self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Because taking a card from the center and adding it to your hand or adding it to your collection is obviously, it helps you towards that majority.
Yeah.
But you're also removing a scoring opportunity from the board by picking it up.
While also revealing to your opponent what your strategy
Yeah,
is.
exactly. So, and obviously you're going to be replacing it. Then you could replace it with, the same type of animal, and then you're kind of back where you were. But if you don't, you replace it with something else. It's a good chance that's an animal you're not going for, which means it's a good chance it's an animal that one of your opponents is going for, and then you're helping them by giving them an additional scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a real unusual balance in this game. It's just it's about trying to not do poorly as much as do well.
And it might be accentuated by when you're playing with two or three players because it's a lot more personal then.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously I mentioned the opportunity to take a card from the center. You also have the option to just play a card straight from your hand and keep that information secret, which is useful in sort of muddying the waters a little bit as far as the information available to your opponents. But also, then you're also in that. If you do that, you're also foregoing the opportunity to manipulate the board in some way and help yourself that, because you only have very few opportunities in the game to actually affect the scoring.
Yeah, there's a safeness to playing a card just without drawing one and replacing it.
While this is all very clever, I do worry about I want to play with more players because I can't tell right now if it's actually smart or if it's just kind of a contrived way to make things challenging.
Yes, I get what you're saying. It's like it feels manufactured.
Yeah,
more than this was the best way to make a game.
Yeah,
let's do something different.
I'm leaning towards liking it.
Yeah,
but I'm not 100% yet. I would really want to play this with more players to know for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I just don't know where I fall on this one, gameplay wise, because to me the gameplay felt too simple. But then how the game made me feel is complicated.
Okay.
That's the only way I can think of succinctly putting how I feel about this game. There's something about the gameplay that just feels too simple to me. Just being, and the fact that you can see what other cards people are taking, and the fact that, we've had a few ties.
Ties are very common.
At two players, and tied scores, and then the game's just there are no tiebreakers, because, and logically at two players, what could be the tiebreaker? It's the guy with the Lions wins, there is no tiebreaker. And I guess that's kind of what I mean, it's maybe a little, with fewer players, maybe it's a little too easy just to read what other people are doing, and just sort of play the game safe.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't necessarily like that.
I think, again, it's definitely an issue with two players, but I do see aspects that I enjoy, though, that I think would even get better as the player count increases. I feel like the two different ways you can claim cards, I actually really like the option to either take from the center and have that information be public or play something from your hand. Yeah. It actually reminds me somewhat of Hold'em or stud poker. Yeah. Where some cards what players have, other cards you don't. So a lot of times in this game, even when you know a lot of the information, you're probably not going to know all of it. So a lot of it comes down to taking a gamble. Okay, I'm going to guess they went for this card, so I'm going to try for this card and hope for the best.
I mean, it's considerably easier than poker because you have
of course
a handful of cards, whereas with poker you have 4 suits of
13.
13, yeah. Well, you get what I'm saying. All right.
I'm not saying it's as complicated as poker.
No, it's not as complicated.
I'm saying
as poker.
it evokes similar feelings sometimes as far as when to how to approach a certain play. Yeah, and I think we talked about the ties. I think that's an issue with sort of how the scoring is handled in this game to some degree. So I do like the different ways that the scoring occurs for each species.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice mix of different things, and I like that how they kind of try to incorporate the theme a little bit. Each animal, the way it scores actually kind of ties into how the animal in real life. Elephants score in rows. You kind of they travel in rows. The monkeys are columns because they live in trees. So it's more like a vertical thing.
You're right.
They actually put some thought into that.
A bare minimum.
I do like that because there's really no other incorporation of theme at all. So I like that they at least gave that little bit. And I think they all work nicely. But the fact that almost everything except for the lion always is multiples of 2, that means there's going to be a lot of ties. The lions are the only ones that can produce an odd number of points.
I get why they did that.
Yeah, I do too.
But again, at lower player counts, it's going to lead to a lot of similar scores.
Yeah. Obviously, I think as you go up, it's probably going to be less of an issue.
Yeah.
At the same time, I would say, if I had to guess, I would probably say the optimal player count with this game is probably 4.
Yeah.
I feel like once you get to 6, that's a lot going on.
Yeah,
It might just be too much, especially for a game that this simple.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, as far as the product goes, pretty standard as far as like the blue-orange, the nice little magnetic box, everything fits nicely. There's not a lot going on here.
Custom insert.
Yeah,
Kind of like a generic
I just said I do really like the art on the cards.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of it, but I think it's very attractive, very evocative. Some of these look rather nice.
I agree
I like
with
the
you.
monkeys a lot. I think
Proper
that one
color
looks really cool. Like the lions look good. The penguins, they're all very bright and
Yeah, I like the wolves and the lions, I think, the most. But yes, I agree with you. There's a lot of silhouetting and shadowing.
Yeah.
Just flat colors, but bright.
so
It's good.
it's a good
It's
looking
really
game
good. Yeah.
considering there's not really much going on. Shall we wrap it up, Will?
Sure.
All right, so like we said, obviously, I'm not going to score this. Are you going to score this?
No, I wouldn't score it yet.
All right, so maybe we'll come back to this again with Graham at some point, possibly, see how it plays with 3 at least. But yeah, I still think it's a game worth keeping your eye on. I think I think I'm mostly positive on it at the moment. I'm just not willing to commit entirely to that until I play it more. But it does some interesting things. You know, obviously it is extremely easy to learn and play, and it plays very quickly, like legitimately, shockingly quickly.
Yeah.
So you know, if you're looking for like a nice filler game, this might be. If this looks like something you might enjoy, I might pick it up. It's worth checking out, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't expect it to be as interesting as it is, considering it's a game that can easily be played in under 10 minutes, especially in lower player counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of said what I needed to say about this, but I'm with you, D. I'm intrigued to see how it plays at the high. If we can get like 5 or 6 people together, I don't know if we can do that anytime soon.
No.
But when we finally do, I'd be very interested to see if I still feel as, I don't know, uncomfortable is not the word. I just don't know how to feel. I feel like unsure about this one.
Yeah.
And I'd like to feel some more certainty about it, especially if I'm going to ever give it a score.
Mm-hmm. That's it for now. Hope this was at least somewhat informative.
Animix.
That's the name of the game. If you enjoyed this video, please, you can give us a thumbs up. It's always appreciated. You can leave any comments you have on this video or the game. Always love to hear those from you people. And you can subscribe to the channel for more videos every week. And the notification bell can also be clicked if you want to get the immediate notification for when our videos are public. Social media is down below. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to follow us on those. And that's kind of going to do it. Come back next time for whatever that's going to be. Not sure yet. But we'll have more content coming up soon. So, thanks for watching again, everybody. Until next time, bye.
See you next time.